I'm not sure what it is with former Manchester United legends at the moment and having a go at what's happening at Manchester United. I think it's just because of the punditry factor and the fact that the Champions League is on. Manchester United are not in it. We have United former players on them panels and all different broadcasters, and they just like to talk. Nemanja Vidic is the latest one to go in on the Manchester United players in particular, giving a little bit of a hands-off sort of approach to Erik Ten Hag, as to say it's not all his fault. Like, we've talked about this loads and loads of times between ourselves. Like, I said this the other day and people said to me, why are you listening to what Keane Neville is saying? Why are you listening to what Rio Ferdinand's saying? Are we going to ignore Vidic as well? He has gone in quite hard. I'm going to talk about that in the show, and let's see what you think about it then. I'm Adam, this is Forever United TV. Get involved in the chat, everybody. Make sure you give the video a like, and of course, if you are tuning in for the first time, hit that subscribe button. We're just going to tell it you straight. There was some absolute garbage news. Mate, it is realistic. I'll quickly just... No, I won't actually. I'll bring it up later. Something about Man United actually qualifying for the Champions League, even in our current position. It can't happen. I'll tell you why as well. But yeah, let's get into what Vidic was saying, because it does ring true with a lot of United fans' opinions right now with what's going on. We have other news on contract situation with certain academy players as well. Injury updates for all of Manchester United's injury list in as well. So building up to the Bournemouth game now, obviously midway through the week, we start to look ahead. Obviously Thursday tomorrow and then Friday press conference. Erik Ten Hag will give us the full update and lowdown and everything that is happening. But we pretty much know where we're at right now with the injuries, and I'll go through all of them as well ahead of the game and see what you guys think and who we would pick going ahead to that Bournemouth game. Obviously, we would say a crucial game, but it's just really hard to get up for anything at the moment with United, isn't it? Because we're completely out of everything apart from the FA Cup. Well, let's just talk about what is actually happening at Manchester United right now, what's going on behind the scenes. We've got updates on what's happening with Ashworth as well. But let's get into Vidic first, like I said, and I'll get your thoughts on this one. But Nemanja Vidic has been openly talking about Manchester United, Erik Ten Hag this season. I'll go through some of the quotes for you now. You talk about Erik Ten Hag and what he did for Manchester United. I think last season we did well. Obviously, we finished third. I thought after the first season, this season was going to be even better. Maybe they'd be challenging for a title. Look at Liverpool last season. They were fifth. Now they're competing for the title. I thought this season we would improve the team. Going on to say, it seems like certain players didn't stand up and perform, especially the experienced players. It's not just about the coach. I think it's about the players, the mentality, and that's what is the issue at the club. Not just this year, but in the last few years also. So Jim Radcliffe and his team, they have a hell of a job to do. If you look at the way United play this season, I don't think they are in this situation because they don't have the quality. I think it's because they don't have the mentality. There it is again, that word, the mentality. And he is calling out the mentality of the senior players at this football club. And I think he's absolutely bang on the money. You can't disagree with what Nemanja said there. I mean, mentality monsters, we talk about all of the former Manchester United players. They were all coming through under a Fergie era. They were all in line with a system that was in place, which was quite brutal, to be honest. And they were heavy, heavy punishments, standards and everything at Manchester United. We had legends that wouldn't get anywhere near a team if they said the wrong thing. We've seen that clearly with some big, big names. You only have to look at Stam, Van Nistelrooy, Beckham, Keane, absolute monsters of this football club. And these are the players. So I'm bringing up like Neville, Ferdinand, Keane, Vidic now, all of an era of very high levels and massive achievements at Manchester United. And to them, that was like standard practice. And you just don't see that anymore at Manchester United. And it's not so much the formations are set up from Erik Ten Hag that people are going in on now. It's like the actual mental strength of the players. Like, do they believe in Erik Ten Hag? Do they believe in their own ability? I think, like, stand up and not be scared at the moment, wear that shirt with pride. That's the sort of calls coming out from a lot of Manchester United, former Manchester United players right now. Vidic, we know, was an absolute beast. Like, nothing got in Vidic's head. Like, nothing deterred him away from his job at hand, and he was an absolute monster for this football club. One of the best defenders we've had. I think a lot of people would agree with that, but he's just looking in from the outside like everyone else is right now. And there's only so many years you can go by where it is all coming down on the manager. Like someone said to me outside Old Trafford at weekend, all the managers can't be wrong. When I asked the question, who the best post-Sir Alex Ferguson manager has been at Manchester United, it was a mixed bag. The majority, I will say, were Jose. There were a few Ten Hags in there. There was an Ole. There was a Van Gaal. And there was a Ralph Rangnick in there as well. Like, people appreciate honesty within fan bases. And I just don't think you get that. I'm not saying that's just United. I think that's just the way that football is these days. I think it is a case that no one likes to say it as it is. No one likes to upset the apple cart. And no one likes to really risk the wrath of the temperamental players that we have got in the Premier League and all of European football these days. It's a different world. So you can look at what Vidic is saying, Ferdinand, Neville, especially Keane. They're old school. Like, you look at what they're saying and from their era, and it doesn't compare, in my opinion. It really doesn't. If Sir Alex Ferguson was there, then I think it would be easy for these players to fall in line. And it's easy for Keane, Neville, Vidic, Ferdinand, all these former players as well to come out and say, look, this is wrong. On our day we did this and that you have to have this certain standard and you have to have this sort of mentality and strength and everything like that. But let's not forget, most of their careers were played under one of the greatest that there ever was, and there was never a chance for them to fall off because it was pumped into them all the time. The game has changed, and everyone right now, if you put Sir Alex Ferguson with this team, you'd probably get a tune out of him. You would. But a lot of them probably wouldn't survive either because of the way that the world is right now. And that's the difference, isn't it? It's like, yeah, we can see the mental strength within these players. I think what Vidic is trying to say is, like, mentally, do they believe in themselves? Do they believe in what the manager's saying? I don't think they do. And I think that's the problem we've got right now. And I do look at it and I go, like, how can players fall off so bad? Like, over the last 10 years, we haven't got enough room in our hands to count the amount of players that came in that we were really, really excited for and left under a massive cloud, like completely fallen off and just regressed completely at Manchester United. Like, yeah, at United, these players have all regressed. Like, nearly every single one. No one leaves United these days and goes on to better things. No one. And that's not because of the standard of the club. That's because of what United have done to them, and then the type of club that's coming in to pick them up aren't as good as what it should be. If someone's coming in for a United player, it really should be of a decent standard, but they're not, are they? Like, you only have to look at where the loanee clubs, the loanees are going out to, like Donny van der Beek, Everton. Like, seriously? And then out to Frankfurt. There's no one that wants these players. Like, they're good before they come to Manchester United. United looked at them. You can scrutinise the recruitment and how deep we actually looked into players, like we spoke about last night. We look into them, we see the qualities. Then for some reason, Manchester United try and change these players into something else. It's like a player comes in and never seems to play the position that we bought him in for. It's like, where is Bruno Fernandes playing these days? Like, he's all over the place. Like, it's too versatile. This is why I hate versatile players with a passion. I just want to know where a player is going to be playing. Simple as. This chopping and changing of Dalot and Wan-Bissaka, it's not helping. It really isn't. The midfield situation is Kobe better further forward, back, Mason Mount on the right as number 10, Bruno in the right-hand side, Rashford on the right, Rashford on the left, Rashford at 9. Just buy players that are good for that one position and leave them there and try and build a squad, try and build a first team and a system and a style of play around players playing in their best positions. I don't think you can build a style of play when you're chopping and changing the players all the time. Like, the simple method is to play the best players in their best positions, and that formula will ultimately bring you success. We just don't do that. But I think what Vidic is saying is true in the fact that it looks like the players have lost belief in themselves right now. And it's interesting how Vidic also said that the senior players, the more experienced players, they're the ones that have fallen off. Because we cannot really argue with the younger players that have come through this season. Like, the main three, obviously, being Højlund, Garnacho and Mainu. Højlund's fallen off in form a little bit recently. Yes, he has. Suffering with injuries badly this season. But Mainu and Garnacho, superb. And now we're possibly seeing Willy Kambwala coming through as well and looking like he is now going to be getting a contract. We're going to talk about that next. But Also, in line with what Vidic was saying, another Manchester United legend. If you want to call him a legend, I don't know. Guys, you tell me in the chat. Is Andy Cole a Manchester United legend? There's one for the live chat right now. What do you class as a legend? And some people are different. Like, it depends on like how many times they've played for the club, their impact that they had at the club in a short period of time. I mean, Van Nistelrooy wasn't here long. Stam wasn't here long. Some people have them as legends. So what is a legend at Manchester United? And while I'm talking about Cole, get your comments in the live section and let me know, is Andy Cole a legend to you? Because he has been talking, and he has been talking about the manager's situation at Manchester United, and sends out a bit of a warning to INEOS in that if they do jump and change the manager, they have to make sure that it is someone who is, I don't know so much levels and levels above Eric Ten Hag, but definitely has to be better than Eric Ten Hag. He does, because you're just going backwards again. He goes into like how it's going to be received by the fans, how everyone's going to look at it. Are they big enough to handle all of the disruption that's going on that Ten Hag is dealing with now? If they aren't, and they're on a similar level, then it's pointless getting rid of Ten Hag. Again, it's like another Man United player talking exactly the same way as us fans are talking, and he's pretty much bang on. And if you're going to change Ten Hag, it has to be better. We don't just change Ten Hag simply because we feel like he's not good enough for the job. There has to be a replacement. There has to be a structure behind the move. Like, I don't think they've got one, personally. I don't think they've got anyone in mind that can come in that is better than what we've got right now. I really don't. Obviously, with all the moving and shaking going on behind the scenes right now, you never know how Ten Hag might adapt to it. He may take to it like a duck to water. You just don't know. It may suit Ten Hag and what he wants to do. If you're taking away responsibilities from him and he can solely concentrate on one thing, maybe he won't start looking like he's completely worn out. Maybe he will be able to start working on more and concentrating on what he's good at, which apparently at Ajax was the system, the style of play, working out which players are best suited to which positions and these phases of play and everything like that. Like, it was good at Ajax, and yeah, different levels, but is there any of that there that Ten Hag can bring into Manchester United if he is solely concentrating on just what's happening on the training ground? He has his input on transfers. We know that. That's the way it works. But the main players above him are the ones that are going to be doing the nitty-gritty, the dirty business of bringing in players, dealing with contracts, things like that. I mean, how I see it, as just before I get into the comments section, I look at the Ten Hag situation. If he stays at Manchester United and the new structure's in place, it's basically Ten Hag, Carrington, the door's shut, the players are in, that's you. Done. Deal with that. Any issues, any fallout, Wilcox is there. Dan Ashworth is there. Omar Barada is there, and there'll be one other person there as well to deal with all of that headache. Take it away from the manager. Yes, the manager needs the players on board, and on the training ground, that's his domain. No one else gets involved at all. Like, we figure out in the summer, sit down with him, what is our style of play, which way are we going forward, then we work towards that. Ten Hag, can you do that on the training ground? Can you make Manchester United play this way that we want to play? Can we play that free-flowing, attacking football that INEOS wants? What players do you need to do it? Ideally for you. Then we'll look at it. Then we'll go away. We'll get your options, 3 or 4 options of each player, which one best suits. Then leave them to it. Go do their jobs. Like, you don't have to worry about Murto going out and just coming back empty-handed, taking his free business class trips abroad anymore. He's gone. You've got proper people in position. Like, if anyone's got a problem with Ten Hag, then they can probably take it up with Jason Wilcox and the manager, and maybe it goes ahead, it goes further. But I think what will be made clear by INEOS, and I think INEOS will make sure that the players are all clear as well on the situation. I'm guessing this is how a proper club would be run, that every player knows the situation. When there's a problem, this is the procedure. Everyone knows it's exactly the same. And hopefully they can wean out these leaks as well within. But I think Andy Cole and the Nemanja Vidic are both right in what they're saying. Like, I don't believe the players believe in themselves anymore. The senior players, they seem to have, like, once bitten, twice shy sort of scenario with a lot of these players right now. Obviously, the younger players haven't seen the heartache, haven't seen the hardships of football yet. They're fearless, and they've got to grow into that. And that's when we'll know if they really have got that mettle with inside their mentality themselves. But I think definitely they're not believing in what Ten Hag's saying at the moment. They're seeing him struggle. I don't think they're convinced. I don't think they're convinced in themselves. They're not playing with confidence at all. You can see that. And Andy Cole is right. If you are going to change a manager, then it has to be someone who is a lot better than Ten Hag, not just anyone. It's simple as that. Into the chat we go. First off, Akash with the super chat. Thank you, my man. You know what really hurts is that the MU leadership waited till the club got to the financial fair play limit for things to actually change. INEOS, I trust. Akash going right in on INEOS there. I like it. A backer. Please give the video a like, guys. Let's get up to that 100 mark. Well over 400 in the room with us right now, so if everyone in here can give us a bit of a like, that would be good. Maybe a full like, not a bit of one. I don't think there is a button for a bit of a like, but I'm rambling. Sorry, carry on. Let's get into the chat. Stu says, ex-player are a different breed and struggle like some of us to understand the mentality of these modern players at the club. This is why, Neville. This is why, Keane. This is why a lot of... I would say I don't mean to be mean when I say this, but the British players seem to have an issue, don't they, in management? Like I look at Van Nistelrooy right now. I've seen these like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. There's an awful lot of the foreign players that are a different mentality. And do you know what I watched the other day as well? I watched the overlap interview with Ruud van Nistelrooy and Gary Neville, and Ruud van Nistelrooy. Honestly, like. I absolutely adore the guy. Like, he's just unbelievable. The mentality, and he talked about his youth and how he learned from where he was as a player. He actually took what he was coached and how he was changed in his style of playing a game into his coaching role now with PSV, and how he coaches his players and how he deals with situations and problem players and things like that. It just seems to be a different... Like, the English and the British side of things, it's like, well, if you're not up to this standard, that's it. There's no way around it at all. There's no answer to it. I think it's totally different. It's weird how it works that way. But, yeah, it is a different world. And they are used to a completely different style of game and standard. I think we have to take that into... We don't want to take that into consideration, but we have to accept that the football world has changed. And it isn't what it used to be. There's nothing we can do about it. We have to find a new way. And the blueprints are out there in the Premier League. We have the best that there is in this league. And it's quite clear. And this is exactly why, like I said yesterday, we don't like it because we have to take it on the chin that we're copying Man City. But we've taken two of their best players that helped them get to where they are now. I'm not going to mention the 115. Let's just say that they were put in a job and they did that job brilliantly. And now we're taking them away. Has to be a good thing. It has to be a good thing. And all that above Eric Ten Hag, maybe he will change. But you can't ignore what you watch on the pitch, and it just doesn't look like these players want to listen to Ten Hag. It really doesn't. Like, you cannot go out on... I cannot have that Ten Hag is sending these players out on the pitch to play like this. I think me and Kaz were talking the other day, like, these players are not going out on the pitch to deliberately throw Eric Ten Hag under the bus. You go through that team. We went through the team as we was walking around. And it's like, do you think Dalot would do it? Do you think Wan-Bissaka is deliberately doing it? And you would say no. Nearly every single player you went through, you would have a good reason to say no. He would never just play deliberately to throw the manager under the bus. And it comes down to the players not being good enough. But then that does move back to the manager. When he comes out and says that these players are getting better, these players are good, and then nothing happens in the transfer window, then ultimately it is the manager's fault. Like, there are other players there that we know offer more right now than some of them players playing on the pitch, but he won't give them a chance. So then you have to scrutinise the manager, and then you have to start looking at it and going, is he really doing everything he possibly can? How much can we look into these injuries as an excuse? Like, can we keep saying the players are throwing the toys out the pram? And causing issues for Eric Ten Hag. The biggest issue for him, we know the biggest issues for Ten Hag at the moment, but he keeps on playing them. So are they an issue for him? Because he's the one who's deciding to put him in the team. So that, when you look at that, that's what Ten Hag cannot defend himself on, I feel. And I think that's where a lot of fans are going in on Ten Hag and not giving him... It's not so much a get out of jail card, but not giving him the leeway that a lot of other fans are. He is a full-on 50-50 split right now, I think, Ten Hag. I think with what's happening in INEOS and all of the shit going on outside of the club and the players and everything like that, people have convinced themselves that Ten Hag is the man. I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying a lot of people have convinced themselves, like, look, we need to just keep Ten Hag for the sake of it, because this manager merry-go-round that has been going on at Manchester United for years now has to stop. It doesn't necessarily mean that Ten Hag is the right man, just because we need to stop that rot. Like, it's going to change because we're going to give Ten Hag 3 years, whereas the other managers barely got 2. This is where it's all going to change. There's no guarantee in that either. And, like, this is a big, big decision for INEOS, because they are putting their sole trust in Ten Hag to get this job done. And Andy Cole is absolutely bang on the money with what he says. It has to be a better manager. It has to be levels, I feel. There are a lot of managers on the same sort of technical ability and achievement level right now out there in the world of football. It's like the up-and-coming. Who is the best up-and-coming manager? There are not many world beaters, as in, like, won everything managers to get. Like Zidane, you could say. I think Tuchel, you could bring into that category. Maybe even Nagelsmann as well, you would say, is up there. He's won the Bundesliga. He's won other trophies as well. There isn't many serial winners out there. And it's all everyone dipping into that pond of up-and-coming and potential managers right now. But they're all at the similar level. So it's like Andy Cole said. It's like, be careful. I think Andy Cole's message is like, are any of these better than what we've got? And then you ask the question, you like thinking in your own head, you're like, well, realistically on paper, no, they're not. Like, they're really not. So what's the point in changing the manager then? Like, can we not work around this? And it all comes down to INEOS fully backing him. If they say, look, sorry, Eric, we're in charge here. We need to sell Marcus Rashford because we think that this is going to change the culture of the football club, and it gives us that breathing space to really invest in the team this season. Ten Hag has to take a back seat and go, that's your job. I'll do mine with what you bring in as a replacement. It's got a good chance of working. And that's the perfect world. I know. Everyone working in unison at Manchester United. When has that ever happened? God. Cole is a legend. Everyone is saying he is a legend. I knew you would. I was testing you. Man, that guy could finish. Best instinctive finisher that we probably had at the football club. But when he had time on his hands, you know what? Here's one for you. It's just got totally left field, this one. But here's one for the chat I want you to get involved in. It's the Champions League final. It's 1-1. Manchester United, injury time. The ball gets played through. And you've got one striker from the last 20 years that's played at the football club. One striker running through on goal. Who are you guaranteeing? Who do you want on the end of that ball running clean through on goal? You can pick any striker from the last 20 years of Manchester United. So all of the legends, you know who's in there. I'm going to throw some names out there. So obviously you've got Rooney, Ronaldo, you've got Hughes, Cantona, Cole, York, Sheringham, Solskjaer, Berbatov, Tevez. It's all there. Van Nistelrooy, Van Persie. They're all there. Who are you sending clean through on goal? Tell me. I'm really intrigued, actually. I'm dead excited about that one. I'm chuffing myself for thinking of that. But I get excited about things like that. Who are you sending clean through on goal? Like, guaranteeing you that ball's going in the back of the net. I don't think we've got anyone at this football club right now that you would put any money on definitely scoring a goal anymore. The comments are coming in right now. Let's see what you're saying. Rudy's the answer. Ollie's the best instinctive finisher. Rooney, Owen. What? Van Nistelrooy, Rooney. Rude all day. Giggs, Rude. Everyone's going in on Rude. Rude, Van Nistelrooy, Rude. Van Persie, Ronaldo, Van Nistelrooy, Rude. Nistelrooy, Weghorst. Rude or Hughes. Honestly, Rude was the dude, wasn't he? Like, honestly, I promise you, I'm not convincing you. I'm not talking about him because I have mentioned him a couple of times in this show, but he was absolutely, he was mustard, wasn't he? Like, when you went through on goal, anyone going clean through, you knew Van Nistelrooy was going to score, didn't you? That's how good he was. But yeah, that was just a quick one, just to test you guys and where you were at. But yes, great comments on that one. Anyone, any treble winner is a legend. David May, happy Dave, is he a legend? No? Greening, is he a legend? I'm throwing it at you. You said it, not me. Telly Sheringham, says Michael Forlan. Oh, Diego. Whoa. I love the big horse comment. Bless him. Oh, good old Vout, eh? He's emotional sod, wasn't he? He really was. Yeah, moving on anyway, guys. That was just a little tester for you. But yeah, into the news that what's happening with Manchester United right now. So Dan Ashworth will definitely not be involved in any recruitment this summer. It does look like, let me just bring up the story. It looks like Hargreaves is going to be the one that is dealing with Manchester United's negotiations now. Just going to bring that story up just to confirm that. Let's see. Where's it bloody gone now? Manchester United this summer definitely won't have Dan Ashworth involved. Matt Hargreaves will take control of Manchester United's recruitment plans following the departure of John Murtough. So we're going to be looking at Omar Barada, Wilcox, and Matt Hargreaves are the ones that are going to be involved until Dan Ashworth comes in and takes his role. But it is looking like Dan Ashworth will be in situ after the transfer window has passed. So early September is the rumour, and it is just a rumour. That's not a definite, so don't quote me on that one. I would say that is probably what you'd expect. Newcastle digging their heels in. I mean, they can wait it out until January of next year. I mean, is it really going to make any difference when Ashworth comes in after this window? I mean, obviously, he can do his research while he's at home or while he's just tinkering around in his garden, as we know. And he can come to United into the new year and say, yep, there you go. They're my picks. That's what I think. This is my input. Go for it from there. I don't know. Thank you for over the 100 likes, guys. Really appreciate that. And yeah, Kaz has just dropped a couple of TikTok links in there as well to get involved. We did a few sort of on-the-spot questions for a lot of fans outside of Old Trafford. The most popular one was the unpopular opinion one, which is doing the rounds and doing mega at the moment. Everyone loves the unpopular opinion. I think Graham did one himself as well, and his unpopular opinion was that Michael Carrick was a better footballer than Roy Keane. I like that one. Very imaginative. I loved Carrick, so I'm not going to have a bad word said about him. I think a different player to Roy Keane. Influence-wise, I don't think Carrick compares. Football ability, I agree with Graham. I think Carrick was an outstanding player. And I think that summer was the only signing that Sir Alex Ferguson made. He brought Carrick in, and we were awesome. Like, do you know what? People are going to be surprised at this, but one of my favourite midfields at Manchester United was like Carrick and Hargreaves. Like, I know Hargreaves. I loved Hargreaves. I thought he was a fantastic midfielder. And that knee issue that he had that plagued his whole career really ruined him. Like, I remember the 2008 season when we went to Anfield. I think we had Anderson and Hargreaves in midfield. Both were bought that summer alongside Nani and Tevez. And that was the one time I went to Anfield that I was completely confident that we had way too much for Liverpool. We absolutely mullered them that game. I think that was the one. I'm pretty certain that was the game. I can't remember. It might have been the John O'Shea one, or it might have been the Tevez late on one. No, actually, I think it was the Tevez late goal. We beat Liverpool twice at Anfield with really late goals, 1-0. One was John O'Shea's, which is always being shown around, but there was another Tevez one as well. So, yeah, I think that was the game. But that midfield, I loved that midfield. I did. I really did. If you was Manchester United chairman, would you offer him a new contract or sack him based on how this season has gone so far, says Michael. Michael, with all these questions all the time. Like, you would have to offer Ten Hag another contract if he's staying at the football club. I think we've all discussed that. Did I say thank you for the 100 likes as well, guys? Absolutely smashing it. Make sure you keep them likes coming in, guys. Subscribe to the channel. Download our SofaScore app as well. Bottom right-hand corner is your QR code. Drop in the description. There is a link there as well to it. It's completely free, and you don't need to do anything else. Like, download it straight to your phone. Best app out there for football stats and information on every single team and all other sports as well. In-game stats are second to none, guys, as well. Download it. It's free. It helps the channel and takes us forward. Really love you all for contributing to the channel. But if you wanted to do anything for free, just download that SofaScore app. Legends. The Zombie Fanatic with a super chat. Thank you. What would you want the new Man U stadium to be called? To be honest, I've not even really thought about that. I've not. Like, I'm sure people have said the New Trafford. I think that's a bit cheesy, to be honest. I would maybe call it something related to the history of the football club, something like that. There will be a sponsor involved in it as well, so we'd have to accept that. I think the naming rights are definitely going to pave the way for a lot of the finance to the new stadium when it does get built. So, yeah, I think we just got to accept that. And I just really don't know, honestly. Darryl says, all well and good comparing Keane to Carrick, but Jemba was the dog's nuts, mate. Plenty of sarcasm in the chat today. There really is, isn't there? As a captain and a talisman, box to box, Keane was better than Carrick, but as a passer, interceptor of opposition attacks, Carrick was levels above Keane. Keane could intercept anything. No one read the game as well as Michael Carrick, though. That is, and I always say this to Alfie, like, the players that can read the game are the ones that have the longest careers. They know where to be. They save their energy, less chance of injuries, less chance of needing to make a last-ditch tackle, and we all love a good crunching tackle. I was a favourite for him, and it did sort of give momentum in games, but you notice the players that don't have to go to ground, don't have to get stuck in the ruck, they anticipate and know, and reading the game is the biggest quality that any player can have. I always say this to Alfie when he's playing. It's like, you don't need to be making last-ditch tackles. If you are, then you've mistimed something or you're a little bit behind the play. If you're intercepting, then you are the best because you've already seen what's about to come about and your concentration levels are higher than anyone else's. That's how I see it, and Carrick was absolutely outstanding at that. He really was. He just seemed to roll around the pitch. Not roll around the pitch, just seemed to float around the pitch effortlessly, Carrick. And that was a sign of like a man in complete control of his game. United Till I Die says, only issue with Carrick, he took too long on the ball at the time, but he was class at finding those balls. I don't think he did. I think he was just looking for the right pass. One thing with Carrick is you look at his pass completion. You may say he took too much time on the ball, but that was simply because he was waiting for the right pass. He wasn't rushing it. And it was never forced. Gerhan says, Ray Wilkins could really read the game. Another great United player. Jasper Blomqvist says, Boxing Straight Talk. I love Jasper and his long sleeves and his shirts that were too big for him. Always takes me back to the 99s, that. It really does. Like, I love Jasper. He's a cracking little player. And I actually met him and spoke to him since I was at a Legends game. He is a top guy. He is. Mark Lambridge with the super chats. Thank you, Mark. New signing in or Ashworth in? Can only choose one. Ashworth, mate. All day long. So, yeah, don't worry about it for me. Get the structure in place. The signings will follow. Book it and they will come. As they say in Wayne's World. Quality film. Let me see now. Yeah, so moving on again, I want to talk about Willy Kambwala. Now, Manchester United are looking to give Willy Kambwala a new contract. First of all, I want your opinions on this. About 6 appearances this season, 2 starts in the Premier League, in tough games, away at West Ham and at home to Liverpool, as we just know. We lost the West Ham one, but we were a depleted team. And a couple of mistakes cost us in that game, as it always does. But yeah, is it right that we're giving Willy Kambwala a new contract? Well, when you look at the situation he's in, his current contract runs out in 2025. So after this season, he's got 1 year left. Like, Manchester United need to be very, very careful. We know the situation with our defenders at the moment. We know the defenders that are probably looking to be gone beyond that point. Like, I can't see anyone coming in for Kambwala right now. but we can't let him run his contract down. Definitely not. That would just be suicidal. So I am all for that. I don't think it should be anything very steep or heavy. Nothing on the lines of what Garnacho's got or what they're talking about for Kobbie Mainoo. He has only got one year left after this season on his. So I think a new 5-year deal with a similar structure in between where Kobbie and Garnacho is and their achievements, I think that would be fair. And I would love for him to be nailed down. I think he has got the potential, early signs of being a good player. I'm not going to get ahead of myself. I've said this with Kobbie, and he keeps on putting me in my place, and I love it. Like, I don't want to give him the new contract. He's already got a 5-year contract. And Manchester United are just looking to put a new one in. The only way I would accept anyone getting a new contract, if they've got more than 3 years left on a current deal, they should not be getting one. The only way I would get or look to put a player on another contract is simply because they are looking like they are achieving or overachieving or going to be even better than what we first thought, and we need to secure that player. So you can still have someone come in and bid for these players, but putting in buyout clauses, that's the only way, securing Manchester United. And I think this is what the structure will be. So if Kobbie Mainoo gets a new deal, I think there will be a stupid buyout clause in it. We need to start acting and shaping up when it comes to protecting certain players. We do. Like Garnacho is going to get better. Madrid are going to come sniffing. We know they are. There was reports yesterday that Real Madrid are also interested in Kobbie Mainoo as well. We need to start putting some hefty buyout clauses into these young players' contracts just to secure and protect Manchester United going forward. That's the only way. Like, he's on 10 grand a week, Kobbie Mainoo, on a 5-year deal. And when you look at what he's doing on the pitch compared to our first team players, you're like, it's a bit unfair, isn't it? But let's not forget, he has just broke through. This is his first season. And there's no guarantee that he's going to hit the ground running again next season. I know that's sounding negative, and it all looks like it's going in the right direction. But I've seen it all. I've not won a lot. I am a Man United fan, and I'm never going to stop. Well, hey, you like that one, didn't you? But do you know what I mean? It's like we've seen players get stupid deals and fall away. Everyone thought Makeda was the next best thing. Giuseppe Rossi. Everyone thought Januzaj was going to be the next best academy player. There have been plenty, and they've not cut it. Second season syndrome. I would just hold off on every one of them. Like Willy, I think has to be sorted because he is coming to the end next season. So I think in the summer, United will look at that. See how he does these next few games, because he is going to get game time because the injury situation at United. And Ten Hag will talk to us in the press conference on Friday and let us know exactly what's going on. Welcome to the Members Club, Kenny. Thank you so much. You are more than welcome. And will be available to be joining us on TIFO on the watch along this weekend. So, yeah, make sure you do. Anyone who is a member, we are doing another one this weekend against Bournemouth. I look at the injury situation right now, and then Kambwala and his contract negotiations or whatever's going on, and I'd say, yeah, let's just see how he does in these next few games. I think he has got the quality. He's shown a lot. I mean, I was impressed with him when he played against West Ham. I thought he did well in that game, and that was under immense pressure. And again, that weekend against Liverpool, he didn't look out of place, and he dealt with Darwin Núñez easily for me. I thought he was more than comfortable. So 19, he's filled out a little bit more. He's got a couple more years experience, I would say, or sort of age and growth period in him. He does look a lot thicker, and I think he is probably ready to come in and be a squad player for Manchester United. Not a first-team player, not yet. He has to work his way up, but I think definitely negotiate a contract for Willy Kambwala. Guys, let me know what you think. Should we be looking to secure Willy Kambwala? Get in the chat right now and let me know. What you reckon he should give him a week? If we're looking at Mainoo being on 10 grand, what should Willy get? The same? I think Mainoo's is going to go up, by the way. Garnacho's on 50 bags. Mainoo's on 10. Let's not forget, Højlund is only on about 65, 70. So, yeah, this is like the sort of like level for under 21 players. I think we need to keep within that sort of bracket, but maybe 10, 15 grand for Willy Kambwala, new deal. That can all change. Incentivise it. I think this is the perfect opportunity to show that this is how Manchester United are going forward with INEOS and this new structure. I'd love it. I would. We do need to protect them. In terms of injury news, obviously, there is going to be apparently late fitness tests for both Evans and Varane. There is a potential that they could be fit for Bournemouth. Now, that's just rumours coming out. Erik Ten Hag will pretty much kibosh that probably in the press conference on Friday, and then we'll move on from there. But yeah, no McTominay, definitely not. That's May for him, May for Lindelof, May for Lisandro Martinez, May for Luke Shaw, Martial, unknown, Malacia, unknown. Like, forget them players. The ones that we need to be looking at are them four, that McTominay, Shaw, Martinez, Lindelof. They're the main first team players you say would be mainly involved coming towards the back end of the season. But by the time that they return, I think the season will pretty much be over. As sad as it is, like, come May, I think the chances of Manchester United finishing in that Champions League spots are just absolutely crazy. Speaking of Champions League, obviously there was a story going around from TalkSport, God, about Man United actually being able to qualify for the Champions League if they finish in 6th. Yeah, that's if West Ham win the Europa League ahead of Liverpool and Leverkusen. Good luck. And West Ham actually finish in 5th. And we can't get to 5th, and West Ham are below us. So United will not qualify this season, finishing 6th for the Champions League. Just forget it. It's not going to happen. It's ludicrous. It's just a mathematical possibility. It really is. So, yeah, it ain't going to happen. United are not going to be in the Champions League next season. We don't deserve to be in the Champions League next season. And that's all there is to say about it. It is. But, guys, that is your lunchtime show all done and dusted. Thank you so much for joining us. Please give the video a like. We're just about to get over the 150 mark. Legends, you all. I loved all of your comments today. We will bring in more of your comments on the interactive show at 6:30 tonight, guys. So make sure you're joining us then. We like to do 2 live shows, obviously, to give more people a chance with different time zones. We sometimes get different crowds in, but if you are available, which you are later at 6:30 because you love the show, then I'll see you all then, people. But for now, fantastic. Again, I will see you later. Enjoy the rest of your day. Up the Reds.